Sup folks, same modus operandi. Welcome to my stream. Today we will be critiquing another Overwatch animation, and this time maybe dragons. So let's go. Disappear from off screen, mute my mic.
My family tells of an ancient legend about two great dragon brothers, the dragon of the North Wind and the dragon of the South Wind. Together, they upheld balance and harmony in the heavens. But the two brothers argued over who could better rule their land. Their quarrel turned to rage, and their violent struggle darkened the skies, until the dragon of the South Wind struck down his brother, who fell to earth, shattering the land. The dragon of the South Wind had triumphed, but as time passed and he realized his solitude, the sweetness of victory turned to ash. For years, the bereft dragon's grief threw the world into discord, and he knew only bitterness and sorrow. One day, a stranger called up to the dragon and asked, "O Dragon Lord, why are you so distraught?" The dragon told him, "Seeking power, I killed my brother, but without him, I am lost." The stranger replied, "You have inflicted wounds upon yourself, but now you must heal. Walk the earth on 2 feet as I do. Find value in humility. Then you will find peace."
You are not the first assassin sent to kill me. And you will not be the last.
You are bold to come to Shimara Castle, the den of your enemies.
This was once my home. Did your masters not tell you who I was?
I know who you are, Hanzo. I know you come here every year on the same day. You risk so much to honor someone you murdered.
You know nothing of what happened.
I know you tell yourself that your brother disobeyed the clan, and that you have to kill him to maintain order. That it was your duty.
It was my duty, and my burden. That does not mean I do not honor him.
think you honor your brother Genji with incense and offerings? Honor resides in one's actions.
You dare to lecture me about honor? You are not worthy to say his name! Ryuga waga teki wo kurau! Yujin no ken wo kure! Only a Shamada can control the dragons. Who are you? Do it then. Kill me.
No. I will not grant you the death you wish for. You still have a purpose in this life, brother.
No. No. My brother is dead. Genji.
The dragon knelt upon the ground. For the first time, he was able to clearly see the world around him, and he became human. The stranger revealed himself as his fallen brother. Reunited, the two set out to rebuild what they had once destroyed.
What have you become?
I have accepted what I am, and I have forgiven you. Now you must forgive yourself. The world is changing once again, Hanzo, and it's time to pick a side.
Real life is not like the stories our father told us. You were a fool for believing it so.
Perhaps I am a fool to think there is still hope for you. But I do. Think on that, brother.
How'd you like this animation? I think it ranks at my favorite for this one. For the entire lineup that Overwatch has, this is gonna be my favorite because of one thing, which I'll tell you guys later. But let's get to the critic. We'll go back and forth, talk about stuff. You know, it always strikes me weird that you have the title in the start already. Then why do you need to show it again partway through the animation? This is, yeah, look, Blizzard Entertainment presents.
My family tells of an ancient
This is the same thing as what I mentioned last week with the Overwatch game cinematic trailer, where all these they look 2D, but they're actually 3D, and it's just neat that where the dragons are right now is where the pagoda appears as well.
in the heavens.
So generally, if you want to switch scenes and you have an object of focus, you don't want them to move to be too different of a position as compared to the previous scene. So dragon in the middle, your viewer's eyes are in the middle, and then you have this one big pagoda over here, which is smack in the middle as well. So your viewers don't really have to jump their eyes around and possibly lose part of the plot or some other details that you may want to show. It is possible that this pagoda is at the side over here, but then you really need to have something very interesting in the middle over here, which at this moment in time is nothing, because this establishing shot over here is all the city line. You have the mountain in the background, which I think is a fade out from the previous scene. Yeah, so putting the pagoda in the middle, big, right smack in the middle, grab your viewer's attention, is a smart move, because the camera is going to pan down to reveal more of the scene. So this is just smart, good, well thought out placement of objects in between cuts. Restaurant. Okay. I can read a bit of Japanese. Rikimaru is like a very common name. Ooh, this one. One of the core principles of animation is stretch and squash. Like when you have an object drop down from a height. So this is kind of like the normal state, and you want the object to squash down because there's still kinetic force driving downwards, where especially if it's a human, then you need to brace and dissipate the energy, and squashing down is the way to do it. Like the feet lands on the ground and then the body comes down. But in this scene, you see that Hanzo doesn't squash a lot. Like way less than a normal human would. If it was me and I jumped from that height, my butt would probably be around this level. But his is here, which shows one thing. Okay, so like you can deliberately bend rules or override principles in animation to show something. Like in this case, the animators would like to show the strength of Hanzo. Like his legs are super powerful, that he does not have to squash all the way down in order to dissipate his energy coming down, but his muscular strength is enough to hold him, like drive, like his legs has enough force to drive to counter the squashing down, and so he doesn't have to squash down as much. But there's a drawback: you're using strength. If you were to squash all the way down to the ground, you're not using strength. So there's pros and cons. Yep, like I mentioned before, like it's just strange. Like when you see a character looking off to the side, you immediately will associate like situational awareness, checking things out, and it's just so beautifully done here that his eye dart. Okay, so he starts off looking to the right, go to the right, and then he blinks and then looks left. This is classic human behavior, human movement. When you're going to make a big change in your eye direction, normally almost 90% you will blink, then you dart to the other direction. There are times where you don't blink as you dart. Those are very, very specific situations that, I don't know, maybe we will see it in the future episodes, but if we don't, then hopefully I remember. Otherwise, too bad for you guys. Okay, so when he reaches the far left corner, then he darts a little bit to the right, and there's this just one peculiarity. I won't call it peculiarity, it's just the way human eyes work. For the opposite eye, there's a limit it can go. So in this scene, if you look at his right eye and his left eye, you will see that as his left eye darts, as his eyes dart more to the right like this, his left eye darts more than the right, like way more. Is because his right eye has reached the limit of movement. to the left. So when he darts right, he doesn't have to dart so much. While the left eye has a lot more range of motion, so it can dart a little bit more. It's like how you can control your eye. You can make yourself cross-eye. You can even do the ping pong thing. You can make your eyes do this just simply by controlling. It's riding on the effect that your eyes have limited range of motion. I'm not sure if I'm making sense here. I don't think I'm making sense talking about this, so let's just move on. Hope you guys get a little bit of it. Yeah. Is there any more? Yeah, then he darts forward again. So the darting from here to here is rather small motion. It's not a lot to do from here to here. Can you guys see? Like, it's not a lot, hence the blink is not required. If you really want to add a blink, you can add a half blink, but really in most normal circumstances the blink is not needed here. And there's just one detail that makes this so awesome. Okay, notice the lower left eyelid. When his eye darts to the right, the lower left eyelid moves up as well. So these are just the minute facial muscle movement that is so difficult to capture and animate. Hence, I will say, as I've said in previous critique as well, this is very likely because their facial movement are done using facial mocap. And it's just so much movement, you know, in the face, like eyebrows pinching together, frowning. Yeah. And this is a very stylistic run, I would say. Okay, if I were to be analyzing this in terms of real world human physics, his run is not very efficient. It's efficient in terms of posture, where he's leaning forward, all his weight is to the front, but the use of his leg muscles are not too efficient. So this ties back to the squashing just now when he lands on the ground. All this says that his thigh is very strong. His thighs are like inhumanly strong, I would say, but his calves are not that strong, because in his run he doesn't raise his calves all the way up to his butt. And it also means that he's more of a burst speedy runner than a distance runner. This is just my an intelligent guess based on his body mechanics. Oh, what was that? Really? I've never noticed Genji standing here. Genji is here. Wow. I've watched this thing like, I don't know, 20 times already, because I like this animation shot a lot, but this is the first time I'm seeing Genji over there. Blizzard did a really good job here, you know, making Genji a stealth character. Like, there's no lights. Well, I don't know. Have you guys noticed? Did you guys notice Genji standing there? The first time you watch it, I didn't for sure, because all my attention was focused on Hanzo running towards the wall or whatever where it's going. Never saw Genji. Maybe. Yeah, I think Blizzard just wants Genji to be hiding in the shadow. Great job here, definitely, because I missed it. But otherwise, if they want, they can light Genji up just a tad bit more, so he becomes a little bit more obvious. Let's see if the lighting makes sense. Yeah, kinda makes sense because the light source is behind Genji towards his left, a bit to the left. Yeah, so this is proper lighting, effective lighting. Parkour, but it just so happens that Hanzo can scale walls as well, and it's just smooth. Like I mentioned before, if you want to transition, try to have something that can capture the audience's attention, and then when you transition, have the object in the same place as well. Best use is like what I mentioned in Bastion, the last Bastion animation shot, where the focus is on Bastion and then Bastion is still, but the background changes in one frame. So this is almost akin to the same thing, just that it's a fade out, fade in, crossfade transition. But you see the dragon from the previous cut, from the previous scene here, lines up nicely with the dragon here. Very, very nice nicely placed crossfade cut.
Who could better rule their land? Their quarrel turned to rage.
Again, these are 3D renderings, they're not 2D,
until the
they're
dragon
all
of the
3D.
south wind struck down his brother, who fell to earth, shattering the land. Shattering the land.
This is just nice that these bodyguards, they're all doing different things. Yeah, you want to have variety, dynamism. You don't want things to be static and boring in your animation shot. So you have like these 4 guys over here, they're all in different poses doing different things. 3 of them are standing still, there's 1 patrolling, just to break things up. Okay. How do you show force in an otherwise weightless world? Posing. And also the rate of a change. Like you see, right now this guy is, his body is in this position. This is his line of action. That's his pose. This is probably like what? 40, 45-degree curve. Yeah. And then once it gets punched, his angle became like super steep. 90. So from 45 to 90 in one frame is a huge change in a very short amount of time. It goes hand in hand. The rate of change ties in with the amount of change as well. So if you have this 90-degree angle change happen in one frame, it's very strong. If you have this same amount of change happen over 10 seconds, you're going to immediately feel that it's not powerful at all. It's just like a very consistent, gentle shaft that makes the body bend slowly instead of a huge force that makes it curve a lot one shot. Yeah, no? I'm gonna take a look at that. How does Hanzo transition from this arm lock? Ooh. Okay, I think there's a bit of cheating over here. Is that cheating? I think there's a bit of cheating over here, like, yeah, wait, has his arrow been knocked in there all this while? Oh, looks like it has been. Yeah, the arrow is knocked in there. Okay, then this isn't so much a cheating issue already. How about here? This, nope, this does not have any arrow inside. So he would have knocked his arrow sometime. This has no arrow. Wait, all of a sudden there's an arrow in there. Oh, no, there's no arrow. Okay, it's clear. So over here, you can see the stretch and the squash. Mainly stretch. Look at Hanzo's right leg. In this position, it stretches out into impossible geometry just to add that little bit of impact. And look at how much this goon bends, and he bends even further, which shows that there is way heck a lot of force behind Hanzo's kick. So when you watch it in real time, you see a lot of force. You will feel a lot of force. Comedic effect. Yeah, I think the arrow getting in there is just a cheating kind of thing.
Dragon of the South Wind.
And over here, related to the concept of the crossfade thing again, having a steel object that matches the position of the next incoming one, is related, but just look at the dragon's position. So for this dragon, the head is here. Okay, so this dragon, the direction is like this, tail to head, and the next one, it goes the other way around, where it is tail to head this way. It works first because it is in the same place, and secondly is it works better because there's contrasting, opposing, posing, or line of action. One is anti-clockwise, the other one is clockwise at the same position.
The dragon of the South Wind had triumphed, but as time passed and he realized his solitude, the sweetness of victory turned to ash.
The same moon as we saw in Soldiers. I forgot what Soldiers animation shot is called. Genji. A very deliberate walk. You can see that the way Hanzo walks is like he firmly places his foot before he transitions, before he shifts his weight. Good detail to the katana over here, to have this sort of nicks in a sword. Like if a sword has seen battle, has seen action, you will notice that there's a lot of nicks in the sword as they clash metal to metal. Definitely you'll see, and you will have swords breaking off as well, like parts of the sword breaking off. So good detail. I would say this is a nice touch, but maybe the rest of the blade is a little bit too smooth already. That maybe it has not seen enough action. But then again, I also understand that there's aesthetics at play here. People, when people think of swords, they usually think a very pristine sword, shiny one, but actually they're not very shiny. They're rather dull, and there's a lot of scratches and dents and nicks in blades usually.
Dragon's grief threw the world into discord, and he knew only bitterness and sorrow. One day, a stranger called up to the dragon and asked, "Oh, Dragon Lord, why are you so distraught?"
Why are you so
Dragon told him,
distraught?
"Seeking power, I killed my brother, but without him, I am lost." The stranger replied, "You have inflicted wounds upon yourself. But now,
It's a very deep life lesson that only when you have gone through it do you understand. It's just like how your parents tell you to study and you like, I don't give a crap, I don't study, and then when you grew up you think, I should have studied. So like wait, what was I, where was I, what did the narrator say?
wounds upon yourself," stranger replied. "You have inflicted..." The stranger replied, "You have inflicted wounds upon yourself."
Oh yeah, Hanzo was saying that in his pursuit for his goal, he killed his brother, and then in the end he is regretting it. So there's a lot of times it's just like human nature. I don't know, human nature, is it like human short-sightedness? Like in your pursuit of something, you think you're willing to sacrifice whatever you put on the line, and then once you have attained it, and then you look back and you realize, I shouldn't have done it at all. The thing that I sacrifice is just not worth it. Yeah, it's pretty deep, and then it leaves internal scars that Hanzo is like
But
very
now
apparently
you must heal.
thinking, reminiscing, feeling
The earth
about.
on 2 feet as I do.
Where on earth did he carry all this stuff from? He has a pouch over here and here, but I don't think you can fit this bowl in there.
Find value in humility.
And what's that chopstick holder?
You'll find
I don't know. Yeah, so the comment on the object, like how did Hanzo carry all that stuff, is just really nitpicking all the details that you can, but in terms of filmography, cinematics, it just works. I'm just curious, is this how Japanese write dragon? I thought it's written this way. The same way as Chinese do. The way, like upon first sight, I would say I would read this as 龟头蛇尾 instead of 龙头蛇尾, because this just does not look like dragon to me. Maybe someone who's more educated in calligraphy, whether Japanese or Chinese, can educate me on this, but I certainly don't recognize this word at all. And the way I can infer or like work backwards, reverse engineer this idiom is I can read 头蛇尾, which means dragon head, snake tail. Is correct, huh? Okay. But I've never seen dragon written this way though. That's something we can probably explore later. Okay, that is dragon in Japanese. Right. Okay, interesting. Learned something new today.
You are not the first.
Oh, it goes to... It makes me want to bring up the point regarding the dragon thing. Like... crap, how do I write that? This... Whoa. I am embarrassing myself. All of a sudden I forgot how to write it. This... Qing... In Chinese is green, in Japanese is blue. It's the same character. So a Chinese guy, when he sees that, he's gonna get confused. You know? It's like, literally, when I first saw it in Japanese reading, I thought it's green, like they mean green. But when I knew they was talking about blue, it's just amazing. The way Japanese writes green is the other Chinese character for green in Chinese, which is 绿.
You are not the first assassin sent to kill me,
Nice eye
and
dots
you will not
and
be
the furrowing of the
last.
eyebrows. So this is in contrast, a huge contrast to Hanzo's landing from his jump. For Genji's, you will see that there's a lot of grace. Nice ass. It also adds it gives the feeling because Genji has already completed his pose in mid-air while he's coming down. So the moment he lands, he's already in his completed pose, and then his fingers barely touching the ground just gives the feeling of a lot of control, which is what a ninja is supposed to have. Like, you land without making a sound. Genji in this instance probably can jump from the Empire State Building and land on the ground without making a sound. That sort of feeling. And he doesn't squash a lot. Yeah.
You are bold. You come.
Nice way of curling the finger backwards. So they all move at different times. You see the pinky moves first. Yeah, it's just a nice lead up to review more of the character Genji.
Shimara Castle, the den of your enemies.
This was once my home. Did your masters not tell you who I was?
I know who you are, Hanzo.
Good surprise. It's like, hey, how do you know my name? It's like Hanzo, then it's like, what? The twist in the knocking of his arrow, in real life it doesn't do anything. It doesn't make your arrow curve like that, I mean, look at that. No way, this is like game physics, Excellent posing here. Very strong line of action, you can see. Yeah. Like, Genji's a character that has extreme poses, man, in this shot.
I know you come here every year on the same day. You risk so much to honor someone you murdered. You know nothing.
I think what are these? Shuriken hitting the wall at tok 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 is a little bit too far apart. Just a tad bit too far apart. Tok tok tok. I'd rather you go tok tok, because when Genji releases them from his hands, you expect that he releases them all at relatively the same time. Yeah, you see they come out all at the same time. And yet they seem to be flying at different velocities. Like the one at the bottom flies a lot faster than the rest for some reason. As to why they all land at different times, because they have different distances to the walls. But then again, the distance shouldn't be too far apart. That's why I would say I would rather go tok 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 instead of tok tok tok. But I can understand why they do it that way as well, to give the emphasis to the last one. There's a first hit and a last hit. Top is the emphasis.
You know nothing of what happened.
There's no reason for Hanzo to roll forward. He can fire his draw and release his arrow, bow and arrow right here. But why do the animators make him roll forward? That is to give a... They also cut some arrows along the way, so slow it down. Yeah, that could be a reason, but yeah, could be. But I won't think they slow down so much, yo. So like they make Hanzo roll forward to show Genji in the next frame. So they don't want to do a cut, they want to do a camera pan. And when you want to pan, just like I mentioned in the Last Bastion animated shot, the one where the Crusader, Reinhardt or Crusaders threw a fire strike, you want to keep the object still in view. So you can see part of Hanzo here as the camera pans to review Genji. And I would say that the roll here is inefficient for Hanzo as well, because you're closer to your target. It makes it easier to hit, maybe, but then it's less deadly because I don't know the physics about arrows too much. Maybe it's possible that Hanzo reaches terminal velocity over here, but I think being too close to a target makes it a little bit less impactful. There's just less force for your arrow to hit a target. Scatter arrow. Another very strong pose from Genji. Okay, and the way he sheaths his sword, and it moves his character a little bit. So you can see that Genji does it with a lot of force into his sheath. That's why it moves his body, even though Genji is very light to begin with. And then again, strong posing, very extreme. And even the jump next to it, jump dash, very strong and extreme. Look at this. He's like going to fall, man.
I know you tell yourself that your brother disobeyed the clan, and that you have to kill him to maintain order. That it was your duty.
It was my duty and my burden. That does not mean I do not honor him.
Oh, let's take a look at that. Did Blizzard do real life or did Blizzard do Hollywood arrows?
Do not honor him.
A little bit of real life. Mainly Hollywood arrows. Okay, what am I talking about here about Hollywood and real life arrows? So real life arrows, when they fly in the air, they bend like crazy. So like this is an archer, he fires his arrow like this, is in a knocked position. When it first fly out, the arrow will be like this, the next one will be like this, next, like this is how an arrow will fly through the air and then hit the target, pop, and then it will vibrate. The way Hollywood does it is that the arrow, the archer will release his arrow and the arrow will just like fly like this and hit the target, top, and then it vibrates. So this is like, we can see that Blizzard did do a little bit of the realistic
I do not honor him.
like you see the arrow is bending over here, is quite bent, but as it goes to fly through the air, it straightens out to become a Hollywood arrow. Change of physics. Look at Hanzo's jump. Quite a fair bit of forward momentum, yeah? And then all of a sudden here, he like drops straight down. Ugh. Like gravity decided to pull him down and it lands. Wow, that's some physics, man. How did Genji do that? Oh, it's past already. Oh, okay. I don't know what this kick is called, but it's possible. Yeah, it looks weird because Genji was hanging in air. Just a bit too long, I think, but it is definitely possible in real life. Yeah, Genji is hung in the air there deliberately to keep your focus on him, so you don't lose the plot. Extremely good detail that is only possible in 3D animation. I've only seen it once or twice in movies when players are doing a power struggle. Muscle shake. In movies, you generally see them like, I want to kill you, or their hands don't move, they don't exert strength because it's impractical for them to do it, because they have to do the shots like, I don't know, 10, 20 times. But in 3D animation, it's a different story.
Honor resides in one's actions. You dare to lecture me about honor? You are not worthy to say his name!
Wait, what?
Not worthy to say his name!
How did Hanzo change his pose? Okay, so he's like kind of I won't say this is a choke, but like holding Genji from the back with his arrow. And in the next frame, you see like Hanzo throws to the left. It's just weird. Okay, let's break this down frame by frame. Yeah. Wait. What? Blizzard? What is this? Oh, Hanzo broke. This is IK animation. So for some reason, I don't know what happened here. So what happened is like Hanzo's IK hands were constrained onto Genji, and then he was made to face the other way, so his left arm crossed all the way to behind him to grab Genji, and then that's his right hand, is it? The unsleeved one is left hand. Okay, yeah, so I was right the first time around. The left hand wrapped all the way around to sort of like become his right hand. Wow, Blizzard, I don't know what the heck is going on here, but I don't know what to say, man. I didn't catch this earlier, like I only noticed now. And the trajectory that Hanzo is flinging Genji, it just doesn't work. I would very much rather just have, okay, Hanzo is grabbing Genji like this. Then, okay, so Genji is here, Hanzo is here. Hanzo face Genji and just like throw him like this, a left throw like this, instead of like facing him like facing the other way and then breaking his rig like this, and then letting it be caught like that. Wow. Blizzard. Okay, comedic effect. Sometimes animators do these sort of things just for the lols, just for the joke. Like sometimes you will hide one frame of some stupid expressions in your character, or maybe right now Genji might have some stupid animation in his face that is just for animators to see. The viewers will never see it because of the render angle. Yeah, it's just these sort of things, but I think this is just animation mistake, man. Wow. Okay. Why this shot is so nice is because it's a very huge contrast. So Hanzo sends his ultimate out. You see, it's just a small arrow and then a flash of light, and then bang, huge dragons that come out in to stand the entire space. And I may not be the best person to do this, but some Japanese lessons here. Hanzo is saying Ryuga Wagateki. No, wait, Ryuga Wagateki. Ryuga Waga or Teki. Wait, let me hear it. All of a sudden my brain is not working. Ryuga Wagateki wo Kurao. Okay. So the translation here is it's hell to translate. There's no way to accurately translate this. For like the English version in the game where Hanzo says let the dragon consume you, that's probably the best approximate that you can get, because what Hanzo is saying right now is Ryuga, he's directing his speech to the dragon. Waga or our Teki, no, he does not say Waga, he said Waga Teki wo, which means our enemies. Kurao is actually Kurae, which means to like eat, take this. But the thing is, Kurai is an extremely rude or vulgar word, and he's saying it to his dragon, which doesn't make sense. Like, why would you be so rude to your dragon? And if this line is supposed to be said to his enemies, why did he direct it to the dragon in the first place? He could probably say like Omae, or he might say Kisama, but he says Ryuga Wakateki wo Kurao, which maybe only native Japanese is able to translate this or explain what he's saying properly. It's just not possible, man. Genji getting into position. You can see him reach for his blade. And the next part is what makes this my favorite. Ryuji no Ken wo Kurae. And again, yes, translation lessons. In the game, it says the dragon becomes me, which is a completely wrong translation, man. So what he's saying is Ryuji no Ken wo Kurae, I would say taste the blade of the dragon. That is the exact literal translation. I'm not too sure about Ryujin. It might be dragon, it might be dragon man, but yeah, the rest of the translation is on point, definitely correct. Like taste the blade of the dragon or dragon man. And just look at the way Genji rests or closes his hand on his blade. Oh yes, I did not mention this. Blade on the back is Hollywood nonsense. It does not work in real life. It's impossible. You cannot carry a blade on your back and unsheath or redraw it out. It's just physically impossible, because Your arms are way too short to do that. I think this shot makes it very apparent. Okay. Genji's blade, Genji's arm is almost reaching his limit already. The next shot, you see his blade, it cuts out of his sheath. It's not even pulled out completely. And you see here, Genji's arm is completely straight already. And where does his sheath end? It ends here, but his blade is still here. So you see how much more distance does Genji has to stretch his arm out to redraw the katana. So blades on the back is impossible. It's impractical. If you're carrying a short sword, maybe it is possible, but most of the times people will carry the sword either on the side, on the shoulder, on their neck, but just not on the back. The back is just Hollywood stuff. And if you see in sword fight movies, if the warrior is carrying a sword on his back and you see it unsheathed, usually there's a cut to show him. You will hear the shik, that shh, and then the next shot, the sword is out already, because it is physically impossible to pull it out of the sheath. I would do this blade thing differently. So, oh man, can we do half speed? Was okay, you see that he redraws his blade and then he immediately he does this 1, 2, and he goes into his pose called the Kogasumi. I would prefer him to pull another one and then enter the pose of Te Uragasumi, where Genji, instead of facing right, he will face left and hold his blade on his left. Give me a sec. I'm not sure if you guys can see this. Oh wow, there's not enough space. I'm not sure if this will make sense to you guys. Okay, so Genji redraws his sword out, and immediately he goes into this pose 1, 2, and then he stops to go into the Kogasumi pose where he's doing this. I would very much rather him unsheath, and so this is the first one. Second one, I would rather him do a third one and then go into a Te Uragasumi. So 3 as opposed to 2 swings of the blade as he draws it out. 3 because 3 looks aesthetically more pleasing. Generally in this both things happens in odd numbers more than even numbers. Like even fairy tales, the 3 musketeers, the 3 stooges, the 3 blind mice, Snow White and the 7. And there's a lot of 3s in fairy tales, and so movement wise 3 generally will give more of a sends more of a message across as well. Like if you want a character to move and stop, make him stop like using 3 steps rather than 2. 2 is just way too short. 3 is perfect. It puts the point across enough. So yeah, this is the part about his ultimate, the Dragon Blade, that I think making a triple swing will make it and go to the opposite direction will make it more, it looks nicer. Because if you really analyze the way he is dissipating his energy drawing the blade out. Okay, he's done the second flare already here, and all of a sudden you see him like pause and go enter into this Kogasumi pose stance. And then the next one looks just a tad weird. Okay, so he cuts from his right up to bottom left, and then all of a sudden you see him, his blade is pointing to his right again. So literally he cuts like this, and then the next shot you see his blade is like this already on his right. Wow, it's hard for you guys to see it. So the thing is, if his ultimate were to be done the way I would prefer it, 3, where he's on a pose of a Te Uragasumi, when he is doing the slash to sort of like command the dragon forward, instead of doing from a right to left cut, I can just do something like this. Yeah, I can just like cut like this, and my blade will be pointing front already. So in the next shot, people would think that, oh, I just did this, right? I just did this to go into this pose, instead of my blade being down by my legs, and then I have to, like, I don't know, draw up to my waist level. It's a little bit weird. Hope you guys see my point here of how I think his ultimate flare can be better done. But nevertheless, it's just way good. I like it. So this, you see that Hanzo, Genji, he slashes his sword forward, his katana forward, and then he draws it in. It's not so you see that the katana does an arc like this, and then it comes back in. It's not a full circle like this. It just, and then there's a change in velocity as well. So he does this fast, and then he pulls in slowly, so it gives the feeling of weight, like he's really pulling the weight of the 3 dragons here. Yeah, and then he waits a little bit more and then sends the dragons forward. And it also helps that the camera is not panning in circular motion, it's panning and moving in a J arc. Just observe this. I think there's a bit too much of a delay in Hanzo's reaction and the dragon hitting. So like this scene over here, like Hanzo has been seeing this for the past, I don't know, 3-4 seconds. And then, okay, he braces for impact, but look, there's still such a huge gap. The dragon comes in and he gets hit. I would very much rather, because like if you look at the entire course of this exchange, okay, 5:06, the timestamp of this video is when Genji summons a green dragon. Okay, Hanzo sees it already. Hanzo sees it at 5:09. So these dragons make a big circle, come straight for Hanzo, and he's like, oh, okay, I got a brace. So he has got 8 seconds to watch this thing unfold. 8 seconds, he's got a lot of time to prepare. Right? So it wouldn't make sense that there still is some delay from his bracing to the dragon coming in. I would very much rather like the dragon move faster, or maybe put Hanzo closer here Which no, Hanzo cannot be there. It doesn't make sense in terms of character positioning. Yeah, I would say maybe have the dragon come out here already. Like in this shot, the dragon is here already, and then fly faster, fly faster, and then hit Hanzo. Yeah, I agree that there's this stun thing as well, but then I think it's just a little bit too long. Okay, do you drop your weapon first, or do you collapse first? Different physiological, I would say. Okay, physical and psychological differences. So if Hanzo in this moment he collapsed first and then he drops his bow. So this is more of his mind still wanting to fight, but his body is not able to. If he drops his bow first and then he collapses, more of, it's like, I can't fight anymore. But his body still actually has strength for him to go on. It's just that his mind gave up and then he falls. So two kinds of choice you can make here. Do you want to make the character mentally stronger or physically stronger? And then another detail here comes back to the point of why swords on the back is impossible. Look at Genji's katana. It goes in from the side, not the top. Some sword knowledge here. There are two kinds of sheath. One is, I don't know what it's called, I just call it locking mechanism. So this one very obviously has a locking mechanism because he needs to press it in, while some is just a smooth kind of unsheath. Like mine has a locking mechanism. If I want to redraw it, I'm using very little strength. I'm just applying constant pressure. Like you see, it comes out all of a sudden. It's like it comes out. Whereas if it's no locking mechanism, the sword will just come out very smoothly. Just two kinds of two mechanisms to hold the sword in place. Most of the time, the ones that has no locking mechanism is more common.
Only a Shamada can control the dragons. Who are you?
Wait. Wait, what? He pulls the sword from his side? Let's keep that in mind. Okay, strong posing here. In that whole interaction, I am sure Genji has a lot of very strong key poses. One, good key poses to initiate the start of the run. Dash, strong dash. Oh, look at this, nice. You see, like Genji is full of extreme poses. This is his legs, and then his body, his arms. His arm is like bending like this. Very strong. Very extreme, very twisted, very strong. Oh, line of action. His arms is like probably something like, what the heck is this? Probably something like this. Strong. Okay, another one. He's preparing to stop already. You can see like his legs are like this. Yeah. It's just so cute in like stick figure. The sound is all the time long in his back only for his out. Okay, would that be the wakizashi then? I think it makes sense. Another strong pose. Like, how do I put this? It's like a blend. It's really a blend of posing here. Like Genji is super strong, and then you see Hanzo's is more passive.
Do it then. Kill me.
No. I will not grant you the death you wish for. You still have a purpose in this life, brother.
No. No. My brother is dead.
That's some hyper flexing of his fingers. Humans can do it too, but his flexes a lot more.
Genji.
The dragon knelt upon the ground. For the first time, he was able to clearly see the world around him, and he became human. The stranger revealed himself as his fallen brother. Reunited, the two set out to rebuild what they had once destroyed.
What have you become?
I have accepted what I am.
You can see Hanzo's contemplation.
Once destroyed.
It's like looking at Genji. Oh man.
Destroyed.
It's like looking at Genji. And it's like looking down. Oh, what the heck. Thinking.
What have you become?
Then like when he says you, he looks at Genji again. Just like, you know, to take in the form, or take in what he's saying. To piece this figure in front of him back with the image of his brother. Like the Genji he has in his mind.
Come.
I have accepted what I am, and I have forgiven you. Now you must forgive yourself. The world is changing once again, Hanzo, and it's time to pick a side.
Stretch before the landing. Just look at Genji's size, just take note of his size, and then before he lands, ooh, his legs stretch out. Classic principle that animators must master. It's actually very simple. When you jump, stretch it. Before you land, stretch.
Real life is not like the stories our father told us. You were a fool for believing it so.
Perhaps
NLP, Neuro Linguistic Programming. I think NLP for the P is not programming, it's something else. But I'll just call it programming. You will see Hanzo looking to the left. So left mainly usually reflects existing knowledge. Like anything left is based on memory, knowledge. If your eyes dart to the right, it's more on creation, imagination. But it's not 100%. It doesn't work for everyone. So, but majority of the population, it works this way. Left is memory, right is creation.
Real life is not like the stories our father told us.
Yeah, so earlier his eyes went left because he was thinking of the stories he was told.
You were a fool for believing it so.
Perhaps I am a fool to think there is still hope for you. But I do. Think on that, brother.
Okay, so Genji carries two swords. No. Something is wrong there. Okay, two swords. Yes, then it makes sense. Like the shorter sword, it will be called the wakizashi. I paused it at the critical moment. Sheath from the left. So if you want to redraw this sword, it has to be redrawn with the left arm. Who are you? You see here is redrawn from his right arm. Oh, cheating. Okay, yeah, so a little bit of Japanese swordsmanship lore history. I'm not too good. So the main weapon, as Andy Lim has pointed out, Genji, usually samurais will carry two swords. One is the main weapon, the katana, and then there's a backup weapon, the wakizashi, which is the one I have, because the katana is way too long. So wakizashi is generally a shorter one used for defense. Well, the katana can defend as well, but it's more mainly an attack weapon, an offense weapon. The wakizashi is used more when you're in a bind. So we can see that when Hanzo fires his scatter arrow, Genji actually defends or deflects with his skill. I think this should be deflecting with his wakizashi and not the katana, because the katana being longer has more inertia to swing around, which is more difficult to, is less nimble. The wakizashi being shorter, lighter, has more nimbleness, agility for Genji to defend himself. So yeah, that solves the mystery or the problem. Dash slash. What's a dash slash? Oh, the one with the the one he dashes a short distance and then gets behind you. That's irritating. So yeah, you were saying the Chinese character for dragon, isn't it written like this, the traditional Chinese? Like long? This is the Chinese long. The traditional Chinese. Unless there's something more traditional than this traditional one. Perhaps coming from pictogram? Maybe like this became that in Chinese, probably. But the way I know, like, this is how the dragon is written in Chinese. The simplified one, amazingly, I do not know how to write. Like, I forgot how to write the simplified one. Like, Chinese is just such a nice language, especially in written form. I've devoted time to learn, like, I spent a bit of time studying traditional Chinese, to the point where I actually forgot how to write the modern simplified one, because the traditional one is much easier to remember. Like for love, you have this. It's written like this. This carries so much more meaning than the simplified one. Oh, when you used to read Dragon Ball comics, it's a tortoise looking one. Okay. Comics. Yeah, then you would be right. So like this character here is the Japanese dragon, while the one I wrote is the Chinese one. So there's no morphing through time between the two. It's just the way the writing system is. It's just like how this thing in Chinese is green and is blue in Japanese, even though it's the same character. A Chinese guy reading this would see green, a Japanese person reading this will see blue. Yeah, but in any case, is the end of the critique. Oh, I think I reviewed it earlier, but like why this is my favorite is because of this one line over here. That's it. This voice line made this my favorite, because I just like the way Genji says his ultimate line. Like, it's just so weird that in the English version it sounds more powerful than the Japanese version. The Japanese version in Overwatch, this ultimate does exist, but the other line is just so weak sounding. The same as Hanzo. It's almost like Ryuga Waga take you out. Ryuga Waga take you out. But in the English version, like Hanzo says it with so much oomph. I don't know why like the Japanese version would be so weak as compared to the English one. But in any case, and of the critic went over time a lot, 30 minutes, but it's fine. Saying for good stuff, is definitely worth talking a bit more. I'm not sure what the next one would be. Is it the Reinhardt one? Yeah. But in any case, anything, if there's nothing coming in, then I'll see you guys next week. Same time. Is it next week? Yeah, 9th November. Yep, next week will be possible. Yep, next week at the same time. So I'll see you guys there.